This year, I've been thinking a lot about this question: what would we do if we knew we'd win? That is something that I've been pondering about and I've written about in my newsletter, but it's this idea of kind of like flipping the question of what would you do if you weren't afraid? I feel like that is coming from a little bit of a place of like lack, um, versus coming from a place of abundance. And so I feel like the shift around assuming victory, that actually opens up a new reality that you can start to then consider. So I thought a lot about this mostly when it comes to like revolution and the I feel like a lot of us are like awakening to um just that this current reality isn't working for a majority of people around the world, and that there should be and needs to be something different. And so I love thinking about this because I feel like more of us need to consider, even if it's 1 in a million odds, to actually have the focus on that one point or like 0.00001% where the reality is victory, collective. And a creator that I follow was talking a little bit about this today, and that really resonated with me. I started writing about this a little bit in the summer, and I just have this sense of optimism around what we can create when all of us collectively are aligned that we want to create something better, something more beautiful, something that is more human, something that keeps people at the center versus money, greed, etc. So, yeah, I feel like that's a little bit of what my message is that's on my heart. And I feel like a lot of what I woke up to spiritually last summer was this, that there is inherent worthiness in everyone. You're worthy, I'm worthy, my neighbor's worthy, everyone's worthy of human decency, um, and love and care. And I just feel so passionate about doing what I can to further that. And that is an inherent belief that I have. Um, I spoke about like the awakening, but obviously that's always been on my soul. It's just come more pronounced in the last year. Um, and just like what I can contribute as far as helping move the collective towards this, like the one reality where we all win. And it's necessary. I mean, we are, I feel like we have like one shot at this. And if we can get as many people as we can to believe in themselves, believe in the collective, because we do have such immense power, especially if we're all on the same page about this, just the fact that a reality does exist where we win this, where the earth gets to survive, where humanity gets a chance to redo. Um, yeah, I just have been thinking a lot about this. And it also came up earlier today before I watched that creator video, when I was thinking about, okay, I every year as like a ritual for my reflection on the year and like what I learned. Um, this time last year, I wrote a weekly newsletter that was targeted around, okay, I have these like 20 lessons. I broke them up into parts, um, part one and part two. And I talked about my lessons from 2024, which was such a good exercise. And I also thought maybe this year, instead of just doing my lessons, I actually want to collect community wins, community changes, like changes that people experienced, lessons learned. Like, I want them to come from the collective. I feel like even though this was a really trying, chaotic, catastrophic, honestly, year, um, externally, we are we are still living this life, and a lot of us still were able to show our resilience, to show up really brave when challenges arose, to keep our integrity in a world that is just trying so hard for you to break. Um, you made it to this day where you're watching this video now. Um, we've survived our hardest year to date, uh, in this, current lifetime. Um, and we have another year ahead. And I think us collectively sharing about the reality where we were super proud of ourselves, about surviving this year, the lessons that we learned, the small and big wins that we were still able to have even in this trying year. Like, I feel like there is something really beautiful about that because, okay, if you zoom out and look at the year, you would be like, oh my God, awful. And then you remember, I survived. This is what I did that I like proved to myself that I could take care of myself. These are the people that I leaned on that helped me get through a hard year. This is what I was still able to maintain in my life that I care about. This is what I'm proud of. This is something that was still felt like, I had some sense of like life and control. And I feel like there's something really beautiful about that because it almost proves to yourself, like out loud, that I did that. And if we were able to survive this, I mean, there are many other years before this where that we've survived, um, and still was able to laugh with friends and family, still was able to get the quality time that I wanted, still able to X, Y, and Z. I would love to collect these because, um, even if it has like a micro impact, which is just the individual being able to step into their power and say like and declare like how I was really proud of myself for doing X, Y, and Z and I felt brave. But also on a macro level of like, okay, my community here of like I'm amongst greatness, I'm amongst amazing individuals who are still finding ways to stay resilient, to persevere, to contribute. Um, And also maybe you were someone else's reason for having a year that they were able to survive. I feel like this collective energy reminds us of our power, reminds us of our agency, reminds us of a reality where we still win. Powerful. So, I am now taking, if you want to drop comments, to share your win for this year, to share a lesson that you learned, to share a change that you navigated. I want to hear it in the comments. I want to collect these. I'm going to be sharing them in my weekly newsletter um, for the upcoming weeks. So, this coming Sunday and the following Sunday, where I will be sharing a collection of these wins, challenges, lessons learned. So, if you would want to join me, I would love to hear from you. Um, and also, I feel like people love to talk about themselves. So tell me, I am like all ears. And had the realization earlier today that I was just like, wow, I'm so grateful to have found purpose where I just hold space for people to be audacious and to go on in lengths about what they're proud of, how they've navigated the challenges that they persevered over. And I'm just like in awe because I get to be on the receiving end of people sharing their biggest wins and just wanting to hold space for that. Feel grateful every time that I get to work with my coaching clients and get to just recount their story back to them. An honor. So, if you want to join me, I would love to hear what stuck out to you for 2026. I know I've talked so much, probably like too much about year-end stuff and goal setting, and maybe I'll have different topics, but this is like top of mind for me. So, and a lot of us as we're closing up the year. So, I hope something resonates, and I would love to hear your take on this as well.